Imagine for a moment, my friend, the quiet ache of watching something slip through your fingers. You thought it was yours. Perhaps a relationship, a dream, a door you prayed would open. And then, without warning, it was gone. It is in those moments that we feel the deep sting of loss, not simply because we wanted it, but because we believed it was meant for us. And yet, here we are, empty-handed, wondering why God would let us come so close, only to walk away with nothing. But the truth is far deeper than the ache of the moment. You see, God is not careless with your life. He is not a distracted author, letting the pages of your story wander off course. He is deliberate, intentional, sovereign. And when something leaves or never arrives at all, it is not because He has forgotten you, but because He is protecting what is truly yours from being exchanged for something lesser. We are often like children clutching at shiny pebbles on the shore, unaware that the tide is bringing in pearls. We cry when the pebble is taken from our hand, unable to see that what is coming is infinitely more beautiful. And God, in His wisdom, will never allow you to settle for what would keep you from the very thing He designed for you before the foundation of the world. What was meant for you, truly meant for you, cannot be stolen. It cannot be delayed into oblivion. It cannot be replaced by another's greed or lost through your mistakes. If it was carved in the eternal plan of God with your name upon it, it will find you. And the same God who formed the stars and set the planets in motion will align every circumstance, every meeting, every closed and open door to bring it to you at the appointed time. The danger is that in our impatience, we mistake what is near for what is ours. We grip tightly to the temporary, convinced it is the eternal. But God knows what we do not, that there are things that can look like blessings but carry the seed of harm within them. There are opportunities that seem promising but would drain your joy and dim your faith. There are people whose smiles hide the weight of chains. And so, sometimes, the loss is not the absence of His care, it is the proof of it. Sometimes, His greatest kindness is in what He does not let you keep. Sometimes, His mercy speaks loudest in the quiet where something used to be. If you could see the full picture, the things He's moving into place, the dangers He's sparing you from, the strength He's building in the waiting, you would fall to your knees in gratitude for every door that closed, every opportunity that passed you by, and every person who walked away. We must learn to trust that God is not late, nor is He early. He is exact. What He intends for you will arrive like the sunrise, unstoppable, undeniable, and right on time. And when it comes, you will understand why nothing before it ever worked out. You will see how the waiting shaped you, how the detours protected you, and how every no was a step toward a better yes. So, if your hands feel empty today, do not despair. Empty hands are ready hands, ready to receive what was always meant for you. The delay is not denial. The absence is not rejection. It is preparation. And in the fullness of His timing, you will stand in the place He has prepared, holding what He has promised, and knowing with unshakable certainty, I did not miss it. It was always mine. Because, my friend, God will never let you miss what was meant only for you. One of the greatest fears that eats at the human heart is the thought that we might lose something that was meant for us. We imagine that an opportunity slipped through our fingers because someone else took our place, or that a person we cherished was meant to stay, but was stolen away by circumstance or the influence of others. This fear runs deep, especially when you have invested time, love, and hope into something. But in the kingdom of God, such fear has no foundation. What is truly meant for you, by the eternal decree of the one who wrote your story before time began, cannot be stolen, because it was never in the hands of man to give or take. Think for a moment about the nature of divine ownership. When God assigns something to you, He marks it in eternity with your name. It is not written in pencil that can be erased by someone's envy or sabotage. It is written in the indelible ink of divine will, The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, and he distributes his gifts according to his wisdom, not human schemes. This means that no rival, no betrayal, no sudden twist of fate can remove from you what he has intended for you. We often misinterpret the events of life because we look only at the surface. A door closes and we assume it was locked against us forever. A relationship ends and we assume we have lost the one. But God's purposes are not hindered by endings. He uses them. Sometimes what you thought was yours was never truly meant to be yours. It was a passing chapter, not the whole story. And other times, something that seems lost for a season is merely being protected until the time is right for you to receive it in fullness. Consider the life of Joseph in the scriptures. His brothers, consumed by jealousy, sold him into slavery, thinking they had stolen his future. From a human perspective, Joseph's destiny had been snatched away. But from God's perspective, Joseph was being positioned. Every betrayal, every false accusation, and every prison cell was a step toward the palace. When the appointed time came, Joseph stood in authority over the very ones who thought they had taken his life from him. Nothing had been stolen, it had only been delayed, reshaped, and elevated. We must remember, what is meant for you is not fragile. It is not so delicate that a whisper of gossip, a single wrong turn, or an enemy's plan can shatter it. If God has assigned it to you, it is fortified by his sovereignty. It may be delayed, but delay is not defeat. It may come through unexpected channels, but it will come. This truth should bring peace to the restless heart. It means you do not have to scramble, scheme, or live in constant anxiety about what others are doing. You can walk in peace, knowing that your portion is secure. Even if the world conspires against you, the author of your story writes the final word, and in his handwriting there is no erasure of what he has promised. So when you see something pass you by, or someone seems to take what you thought was yours, pause. Ask yourself, was it truly mine in God's plan? If it was, then it will return restored and untouchable. And if it was not, then its absence is a gift, because it has made space for what was truly meant for you. We rarely think of protection as loss. When something is removed from our grasp, we instinctively feel we have been deprived. Yet so often, the things we call missed opportunities are actually divine rescues. God, in his mercy, will not only guard what is meant for you, he will also protect you from what is not yours, and that protection may come in the form of a closed door, a failed plan, or a relationship that abruptly ends. Think about it. There are things in life that seem attractive from a distance, but the closer you get, the more dangerous they become. There are people whose smiles hide intentions that would harm you. Opportunities that look golden but are poisoned at the root, and dreams that glitter only to lead you into chains. You, with your limited sight, may not see the trap, but God sees it clearly, and he will not allow you to step into something that will destroy your purpose. But it's unthinkable that some purpose could be your own. We live in a culture that glorifies attainment. If you can get it, you should keep it. If it comes your way, you must hold on. But in the kingdom of God, restraint is as holy as pursuit. God is not only the giver of good gifts, he is the withholder of harmful ones. This means that a rejection can be an act of love. The job you didn't get, the door that didn't open, the person who didn't choose you, each of these can be a layer of divine protection. Look again at the scriptures, and you will find that God often withholds before he releases. The Israelites wandered for 40 years, not because God had no promised land to give them, but because they were not yet ready to receive it. A gift given too soon can become a curse. A blessing in the wrong hands or at the wrong time can crush the very person it was meant to elevate. And so God waits not only for the right gift, but for the right readiness in you to receive it. This truth changes how we see loss. Instead of mourning over what didn't happen, we begin to trust that every no is strategic. We stop banging on closed doors and start asking, Lord, what are you sparing me from? We stop viewing delays as punishment and start seeing them as preparation. When you trust God's protection, you stop chasing what runs from you. You learn to release your grip on what does not stay. Because if it is not yours in God's plan, it will never bring you peace, no matter how tightly you hold it. And if it is yours, nothing will keep it from finding you, so you don't need to live in desperation. This is why the closed doors in your life may be among your greatest blessings. They may have kept you from heartbreak you could not endure, from traps you could not see, and from detours that would have delayed your destiny. God is not only your provider, He is your protector. And sometimes His shield looks like loss, but it is always love. One of the greatest struggles of the human heart is waiting. We see something good, we desire it, and we want it now. The culture around us reinforces this impatience by promising instant results and immediate gratification. But God operates on a very different schedule, one shaped not by our restlessness, but by His perfect wisdom. And what He has designed for you will arrive not a moment too soon or too late. This truth is both a comfort and a challenge. It is comforting because it means nothing can make you miss your blessing. Not another person's interference, not an unexpected delay, not even your own mistakes, when you remain in His hands. But it is challenging because it forces you to trust His timing over your own instincts. You see, we often think we are ready when we are not. We believe the stage is set, the door is open, and the opportunity is ripe. But God sees that there are still pieces missing. Strength you must gain, wisdom you must learn, faith you must deepen. Consider a farmer. He may have the best seeds in the world, but if he plants them too early, before the frost has passed, the harvest will be lost. God, the master gardener, knows exactly when to plant the seeds of your destiny so that they flourish rather than wither. That delay you call waiting is often the warming of the soil, the preparation of the ground, and the alignment of the season. Look at the life of David. He was anointed as king while still a shepherd boy. From that moment, he carried a promise that was certain in the eyes of God. But David did not take the throne the next day or even the next year. He spent years in the wilderness, being shaped into the kind of man who could not only receive the crown but carry its weight without crumbling. Those years were not wasted, they were essential. Had David rushed into kingship, he might have been destroyed by the pressures and responsibilities that awaited him. The same is true for you. What you desire may indeed be meant for you, but if it came too soon, it could overwhelm you. God's timing is not designed to frustrate you, it is designed to preserve you. A gift out of season can be a burden. A door opened too early can be a trap. The problem is, we often measure readiness by desire. If we want it enough, we think we must be ready for it. But God measures readiness by maturity. He knows when your heart is steady enough to handle the blessing without turning it into an idol. He knows when your faith is strong enough to carry the weight of what is coming without stumbling under its load. This is why rushing ahead of God is dangerous. You may be able to force a door open through effort, influence, or persistence, but if He has not opened it yet, it will not lead to peace. It will lead to exhaustion, compromise, and disappointment. Waiting on God's timing, however, ensures that when the door opens, you can walk through it with confidence, strength, and joy. So if you find yourself in a season of waiting, do not resent it. See it as the proving ground of your faith. Understand that God is not delaying to punish you. He is preparing to bless you in a way that will endure. And when His perfect timing arrives, what He places in your hands will be so complete, so fitting, and so right that you will know it could only have come from Him. When God designs something for you, He does not simply hand it over in isolation. He orchestrates the entire surrounding environment to make sure it can flourish in your life. This is the beauty of His sovereignty. Nothing exists in isolation. Your blessings are connected to timing, location, relationships, opportunities, and resources. And God, in His infinite wisdom, weaves all these threads together into a tapestry that works for your good. From our perspective, life often feels scattered. One day you are facing disappointment, the next you are confronted with unexpected change, and the day after that you find yourself in unfamiliar territory. It's easy to assume these events are random or disconnected, but to God, there is nothing random about them. Every event, every connection, every turn in the road is part of a divine alignment, preparing you for the moment when what is meant for you comes into view. Think of it like a masterful chess player. He is not just thinking about the next move. He is thinking 10 steps ahead. Every piece is positioned with purpose, even if the move doesn't make sense to the opponent. In your life, God is that master strategist. The delays, the detours, even the disappointments are often His way of positioning you in the exact place you need to be when the appointed time arrives. Consider the story of Ruth. She was a widow, far from her homeland, with no apparent future. From a human perspective, her life had been stripped of promise, but God was aligning circumstances, leading her to the fields of Boaz, arranging meetings, weaving her life into the lineage of King David and ultimately the Messiah. None of it was coincidence. It was all alignment. This is why you must not despise the seemingly insignificant moments of your life. A casual conversation could lead to a life-changing opportunity. A closed door could redirect you to a place where your blessing is waiting. A season of obscurity could be the very thing that protects you until the right stage is ready. God's alignment often requires patience because He is not just working on you, He is working on everything connected to you. The right people have to be in place, the right environment has to be prepared, the resources you will need must be gathered, and until all these elements are ready, the blessing will remain in the wings, waiting for its cue. This is why you can trust Him even when life feels chaotic. What you call setbacks may be the very turns that lead you into alignment. What you call loss may be the removal of something that would have pulled you out of position. Nothing is wasted, and nothing is outside His control. When the moment comes, the alignment will be so perfect that you will see His fingerprints on every detail. You will understand why the timing was what it was, why the path was what it was, and why nothing else before this could have worked. And in that moment, you will know you are standing exactly where He meant you to be, receiving exactly what He meant for you to have. When something you deeply wanted slips away, it's natural to feel as though a piece of your life has been stolen. But in the hands of God, even loss is not wasted. In fact, many times He uses what you lose to prepare you for what you will gain. This is a truth that transforms grief into hope, knowing that loss is not the end of your story, but part of its shaping. The human heart often clings to the familiar, even if it is not the best for us. We settle into comfort zones, routines, and relationships that feel safe, but that safety can also become a prison. And so God, in His wisdom, sometimes allows certain things to be removed, not to punish you, but to free you. The space created by loss is not an empty void. It is room for something greater to take its place. Think of the pruning of a tree. To an untrained eye, the act of cutting away healthy branches may seem destructive, but the gardener knows that without pruning, the tree cannot grow stronger or bear better fruit. What is cut away makes room for new life to flourish. In the same way, God prunes our lives. A relationship may end, a job may be taken, a dream may seem to collapse. But these are not senseless losses. They are divine prunings, making space for something you could not yet see. Consider Job's story. He lost nearly everything: wealth, health, family, and security. From a human perspective, his life was shattered beyond repair. But the ending of Job's story tells a different truth. God restored him, not only matching what was lost, but multiplying it. The loss prepared Job for a greater understanding of God's nature and a deeper appreciation for what was given. When God allows loss, He is not subtracting from your life without cause. He is rearranging, repositioning, and strengthening you so that when the next season comes, you will not only be ready to receive it, but you will be able to sustain it. Sometimes, what you lose strips away illusions and dependencies that would have kept you from truly embracing the blessing ahead. Loss also teaches endurance. It humbles the heart and deepens gratitude. A person who has walked through loss understands the value of what is gained in a way that the untested heart never could. And that understanding is part of why God allows such seasons, so that the blessing, when it comes, is not taken for granted or mishandled. If you are grieving what you have lost, remember that God wastes nothing. The ashes of one season can become the soil for the next. What was taken is not the measure of what will come. And when you stand in the future God has prepared, you will see that the loss was not an end. It was a doorway into something immeasurably greater. We live in a world that rewards striving. The louder you push, the harder you hustle, the more you force things to happen, the more the world applauds. But the kingdom of God operates on a different principle. What is truly meant for you will not require you to manipulate, beg, or exhaust yourself to make it stay. It will come to you in the flow of His divine order, without you having to twist your soul into knots trying to hold it together. This proof rock. This does not mean there is no effort involved in life. God calls us to diligence and faithfulness. But there is a profound difference between the peace-filled effort that flows from trust and the anxious, desperate striving that flows from fear. When something is meant for you, the effort you put in will feel aligned, not forced. The doors you walk through will open in such a way that you know the hand of God has turned the key. Think of how Jesus called His disciples. He did not chase them down with coercion or threats. He simply spoke the words, "Follow me." And the ones meant to walk with Him left everything and followed. There was no manipulation, only the undeniable pull of God's calling. What is meant for you will feel the same. It will carry a peace, a clarity, and a confirmation that you do not have to manufacture. The danger of forcing what is not yours is that even if you succeed in grasping it for a time, it will drain you. You will spend all your energy holding on to something that was never anchored in God's will, and eventually it will slip away, leaving you exhausted and empty. This is why God, in His mercy, sometimes blocks what you are desperately trying to keep. He knows that anything you must manipulate to hold is not His best for you. Look at the life of Esther. She was positioned as queen, not by clawing her way into the palace, but by the orchestration of God's hand. The preparation process was intense, but it was not manipulative. It was alignment. The right moment met the right person, and the favor of God made the way. When you stop forcing things, you make space for the peace of God to direct your steps. You learn to release the constant pressure to prove yourself, to outpace others, or to keep something from slipping away. You learn to recognize that if it is yours in God's plan, it will remain, not because you are gripping it with desperation, but because He is holding it secure. This truth frees you. It allows you to walk into opportunities without fear, to embrace relationships without controlling them, and to step into seasons without the anxiety of wondering if they will last. What is meant for you will not run from you. It will be drawn to you, kept by the same God who ordained it for you in the first place. It will be your compass, a firm sitpot, the confident prize you carry to carry you. There is a unique kind of peace that comes from God, one that no circumstance, no person, and no storm can counterfeit. This peace is more than the absence of trouble. It is the deep assurance that you are standing exactly where you are meant to be, holding exactly what was meant for you. And one of the most reliable ways to know whether something is truly yours in God's plan is to measure the peace that surrounds it. When something is from Him, it will not bring the kind of turmoil that eats at your spirit. That is not to say it will be free from challenges. Blessings often come with responsibilities and trials. But even in the middle of those trials, there will be an underlying stability, a sense that you are not out of place. You will be able to rest in the fact that you do not have to manipulate, control, or endlessly worry about losing it. The peace of God acts as a compass for the believer. Colossians 3:15 says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." That word rule comes from the imagery of an umpire making the call in a game. It means that peace gets the final say. If something steals your peace from the moment it enters your life, that is not a sign of God's blessing, but a warning that it may not be from Him at all. Many people have chased after things that glittered on the outside but brought chaos on the inside. They pursued relationships because they feared being alone, only to find themselves bound to someone who drained their joy. They took jobs solely for financial gain, only to discover that the cost to their spirit was far greater than the paycheck. In every case, the warning signs were there: the absence of peace, the constant restlessness, the gnawing feeling that something was not right. In contrast, when God gives you something, you will feel that your soul can breathe around it. Even when challenges arise, you will sense His presence enabling you to endure. You won't be tormented by the fear of losing it, because deep down you know it is anchored in His will and no one can take it from you. Think of Hannah in the scriptures. She longed for a child for years, praying through her tears. When God finally gave her Samuel, she experienced the kind of peace that allowed her to release him back into God's service without bitterness. She could do this because she knew he was given in God's perfect timing and for God's perfect purpose. This peace is not passive. It actively guards your heart. Philippians 4:7 calls it a peace that surpasses all understanding, one that stands like a watchman over your mind and spirit. It is the confirmation that what you hold is not by accident, not by force, but by divine appointment. And so if you are wondering whether something in your life is truly meant for you, pay attention to the presence or absence of peace. It is one of the clearest indicators that God is in it. And if you find peace missing, do not be afraid to release that thing into His hands. What is meant for you will not leave you restless, it will leave you anchored. My friend, the world will tell you that life is a race, that you must grasp every opportunity before it slips away, that you must fight for what you want because someone else might take it from you. But the kingdom of God operates on a higher truth. What is truly meant for you is held in the hands of the one who cannot fail. We have walked through 7 unshakable truths: that what is meant for you cannot be stolen, that God will protect you from what is not yours, that His timing is perfect and cannot be rushed, that He will align every circumstance for your good, that He will use what you lose to prepare you for what you'll gain, that what is yours will come without forcing, and that His peace will confirm it when it arrives. And that His peace will confirm it when it arrives. These truths are not just ideas to comfort you. They are promises anchored in the very character of God. They are reminders that you can rest, even in seasons of uncertainty, because the author of your story knows every chapter before it unfolds. If something has left your life, it is because it was not meant to carry you into the next season. If something is delayed, it is because God is still preparing you, or it, for the moment of meeting. And when that moment comes, it will be so right, so complete, that you will not have to question whether it was meant for you. You will know. So, release your grip on what you are trying to force. Stop mourning what was never yours. Stand in the quiet confidence that the God who created you has already secured every good thing you will ever need. And when it comes, it will not be late. It will not be lacking. It will not be lost. Because the truth remains unshakable. God will never let you miss what was meant only for you.